Hi, how are you doing today? I'm here to talk about all the movies that I watched these past 3 months. So October, November, December, it's the time I was on a hiatus and therefore didn't post. So therefore I didn't post monthly, regularly, and I'm a bit behind on reviewing the movies that I watched because I did still watch quite a lot of movies, so I thought I'd go over them with you today. So we're starting in October. In October I watched a lot of like Halloween movies or like horror movie a bit and some other Halloween themed stuff. So getting a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm still excited to share this with you. The first movie I watched in October is The Conjuring, which came out in 2013, and I give 4 5 stars to. This is one that I have been meaning to watch for a while, but I have been very afraid to. So when the official Halloween horror season started, I was like, okay, you don't have a reason to put this up anymore, you're watching it, don't be a baby. And I watched it and was a baby because I was really scared for this movie and I hated every second of it, but I also thought this was a really well made movie, hence the 4 star. It's like the fact that I hated everything about it is the fact that I was just so scared the entire time. Next I watched Orphan, which came in 2009, and I give 2 5 stars to. This one just didn't work for me. I'd heard some great things about it, so I watched it, especially because like the sequel slash prequel to this came out in October, I believe. I don't think like the character motivations made sense, and I don't really like the ending. Like I get that the twist is like supposed to be like this very big thing that everybody loves. I feel like they did some stuff with that just made me very uncomfortable. And next I watched Scream, which came out in 1996, and I give 4 5 stars too. Surprisingly, this is the first time I watched it, and I do think it is to my own detriment that I rated this like a 4 star and a 5 star, because I do think this is like 5 star potential. It's really good, obviously, we all know that. It's a fun and entertaining watch, and I really love kind of like the whodunit mystery kind of throughout it as well. I just I already knew everything that happened in this movie because it's such a big part of like the cultural zeitgeist. So I feel like a lot of it like didn't really end up leaving an impact on me the way it should. Then next I watched Werewolf by Night, which came in 2022, and I gave it 5 stars too. Honestly, I think this is one of the best things the MCU has produced in phase 4. It just wasn't for me. Anyway, next I watched Rosaline, which came out in 2022, and I gave 5 stars too. This is just exactly my brand of movie, which is of course why I ended up loving it. So much fun with it. I didn't expect to have so much fun with it because I watched a trailer when it came out and I thought that was very cringy, so I wasn't expecting to like the movie, but I just needed something lighthearted to watch, and so I put it on as it had just came out, and I had so much fun with it. Then next I watched Hotel Transylvania Transformania, which came out in 2022, and I gave 1 star to. I hated this so much. I'm like, I hate to say that because Hotel Transylvania is kind of like my comfort franchise of movies that's still like coming out. At least I hope this is the last one. I really do. This was just terrible. And next I watched Annabelle, which came out in 2014. I gave it 5 stars too. I was expecting to be terrified of this movie because like the scariest thing of The Conjuring to me was Annabelle. So like watching an entire movie about that doll, I was so scared. This was so boring and so lame. It didn't do anything for me. Next I watched Scream 2, which came out in 1997, which I gave 5 stars too. This is a really good one. I had a lot of fun with it, and I really love how everything like played out. The only thing I didn't like is there's like 2 reveals towards the end, and one I don't like, one I really love. Next I watched Scream 3, which came out in 2000, and this one didn't work for me. I really like the concept of them making basically like a Scream movie and then like murders happening according to like the script and stuff like that. I do think that's really fun, but I just don't think they used that premise well enough. And Scream 4, which came out in 2011, I gave 5 stars to, and peak. For most of the movie I did think this was kind of like meh. I saw what they were doing, I liked it, wasn't the biggest fan of it. And then this one has the best reveal out of all of them, even the original Scream. And again, I might be saying that because I was already spoiled for that and I already knew that like ages ago, but it is such a good reveal. And of course I also watched Scream, which came out in 2022, the new one, which I gave 5 stars to. I really liked some elements in this, I really didn't like some elements in it. For the rest I thought it was fine. It was fun at times, and there was also some things I really didn't like, but it's fine, and I am excited to watch the 6th one. And next I watched The Luckiest Girl Alive, which came out in 2022, and I gave 2 stars to. It was really bad. I'm not really bad, there were some parts in it that I liked, but overall I do think it was really underwhelming. I don't think this movie deals with its subject matter in a good way, at all. And I watched Conjuring 2, which came out in 2016. I like this one, but I don't like it as much as the first Conjuring movie. I just don't think this one was as scary for me because I feel like this went from 0 to 100 really quickly. Well, what I liked in the original movie is that it could slowly build, and that was made it more terrifying for me. And then next I watched Fear Street 1994, which came out in 2021, and I gave 2 to 5 stars to. It was alright. I don't have a lot to say about this one. I watched it. I had a decent enough time watching it, but it's not one that's very memorable. And next I watched Bodies, which came out in 2022, and I gave 2 to 5 stars to. I expected a little bit more from this one. I don't know. I do think it's a fun slasher, but I've seen a lot of people absolutely rave about this movie. I just personally didn't get that. And then last October I have X, which came out in 2022, and I gave 4 to 5 stars to. This one I basically just watched because of the hype. I'm not gonna lie. I really liked it. I do think it deserves its hype. I just feel like I have way too many questions left at the end of this movie to like fully give it a 5-star. For November, the first movie I watched is Monsters Inc., which came in 2001. I gave 4 to 5 stars as soon as a rewatch. I wanted to rewatch something fun. This was something fun. I have nothing new to say. Then next we have Selena Gomez, My Mind on Me, which came in 2022, and I stopped while watching this. Again, I don't have a lot to say about it. Then next we have Enola Holmes, which came in 2020, which I gave 5 to 5 stars to. It's a rewatch. I love this movie. I get why people don't. But again, this one is like made for me, I feel like, and I just loved it. And I rewatched it because Enola Holmes 2 came out, which came out in 2022, of course. I gave 5 out of 5 stars to it again. Somehow this was even better than the first movie. I loved everything. The stakes were higher, the story was more fun, and I love the sibling dynamic between Enola and Sherlock. Next I watched My Policeman, which came out in 2022, and I gave it 5 stars. And I was so excited for this movie. I don't really know why, but it ended up being really underwhelming for me. I didn't really like it. I felt very disconnected to the movie, and I hated all of the characters. Like, it was so insufferable. Then I did a little bit of a Harry Styles marathon. I also watched Don't Worry Darling, which comes in 2022. Gave 2 out of 5 stars to. And my first time of this review was, you know what, Harry Styles was right, this is indeed a movie. Because he did like a quote where it's like, the best part about this movie is that it feels like a movie. That's correct. I know everybody laughed about that, but that's the best way to describe this movie. I also saw Man of the Jedi review it as simultaneously too long and too short, which I agree with. Like, this drags in so many parts, but then like the ending is too short. I feel like we don't get enough answers of things. Also, just like, I saw the twist coming from a mile away. We didn't. I genuinely want to raise up hands. We didn't. All of that being said though, I did like what they were trying to do. I do think there's a good movie in here somewhere. It just wasn't executed well. Next, I watched Falling for Christmas, which came out in 2022, and I gave 1 out of 5 stars to it. This is a lot of what I wanted to love so badly. This is the big Lindsay Lohan comeback. We're ready for it. I'm excited for it. This was terrible, and it's not just in like a cheesy Christmas rom-com me way. No, this was just terrible in every single way possible. Next we have Annabelle Creation, which comes in 2017. I give 2 out of 5 stars to. I really like this more than the first Annabelle. Again, it was the one that scared me too much, but it did have some spooky moments and jump scares that did get to me, but it wasn't as terrified as I want. But I do really like how they expanded the lore of the Annabelle doll in this one, and eventually how it ended up connecting with the first Annabelle movie at the ending. I thought that was really cleverly done. And then next I watched The Holiday, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars to. I don't have a lot to say about this one. I really liked it while watching it. I really love both of the couples. I do really like Kate Winslet and Jack Black's storyline a little bit more, but I like both. Then next we rewatched A Christmas Prince, which comes in 17. I give 2 to 5 stars to. I read a book in November that has a similar premise to this movie. It's very different, but like it has like a similar essence, and therefore I wanted to rewatch this movie. And this one is not as fun as I remember it being, and I like looking back on like my old reviews, it makes sense. I was never really a big fan of this trilogy, but for some reason I thought that I was like, okay, these are not good, but I had a fun time with them, at least the first one. Then next, because I needed a little bit of more faith in past me, I rewatched The Princess Switch, which comes in 2018. I give 5 out of 5 stars to. This one has up, baby. This is cheesiness personified, but I thought this is so much fun. I don't care. And then next I watched Spin Me Round, which came out in 2022. I gave 1 star to. This movie was such a mess, and I wanted to like it, but it was so messy. I feel like for the first part it was all white. Oh, I kind of felt mad about it. I wasn't really that invested in it, but you know, it was all white. And then like the last half happened, and so much happened, and I felt like every minute they were changing genre, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? Next, I watched Bros, which comes in 22, and I gave 5 stars to. This is a movie that crept up on me because in the beginning, I was like, this is a little bit cringy, I don't know how I feel about it. And then at a certain point, I was quiet, and I was like, oh shit, I'm invested. And I liked it. Next, we have Fire Island, which comes in 22, and I gave 5 stars to. Again, one I completely watched because of the hype. I did not disappoint. This was so good. I do think they did like really. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, and I do think they did that in such a fun and interesting way. I thought the movie was fun. I really love the focus on friendship as well in this one, and like fun family. I thought that was really well done, and then like the two main relationships in this one are just everything. I love it. And then next, I watched The School for Good and Evil, which comes in 22. I gave 4 to 5 stars to. I think they made improvements on the book and also like did things worse than the book. There's a lot of things I felt rushed and underdeveloped, especially because we know from the book that this is a very like in-depth, interesting world, and then we barely got anything of it in this movie. I loved the soundtrack. I'm excited to see where they're gonna go with a second movie if they're going to get one. If you like YA fantasy stories, you'll like this one probably as well. Next, I watched the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which comes in 22. I gave 5 stars to. This was a delight. That's everything I got to say about it. It was so much fun to watch, and I really love it. We got to focus on Drax and Mantis, who is very much like an underrated duo. So then we're moving on to December, which will feature a lot more Christmas movies, but not solely Christmas movies, don't worry. The first movie on the list is The Santa Claus, which came out in 1994, and I gave 35 stars to. It was a rewatch. My mom and I rewatched this entire franchise, hoping to watch the new show that came out. We didn't do that, but we did rewatch the franchise. This was fine. I don't have any strong feelings towards, but it is a fun watch. And I watched The Santa Claus 2, which comes in 2. I have 5 stars too. This was just really lame in my opinion. I don't think it was a bad movie, but it also wasn't good. And then next we have The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause, which comes in 6, and I have 1 star to. My only thing that I liked in this movie was Martin Short. That was it. Everything else is bad. Okay, hi, I'm sorry things look a little different, but I had to take a break. But if I remember correctly, the last movie we talked about is Santa Claus 3. So that means we're on to Enchanted, which comes out in 7. I gave 5 stars to it, and it's a rewatch. I watched it during the time it came out a couple of times. I don't remember a lot about it. So I rewatched it because the sequel came out. You know what? This is still just as fun as I remember it being. I just really love how it satirizes the Disney princess movie while also being a Disney princess movie. I think that combination was really well made. On the contrary, we have Disenchanted, which comes in 22. Give 1 star to. This was terrible. Emotionally checked out like, I don't know, 10 minutes of the movie, like not that far in. It was so bland and boring. And then next I watched The Close Family 2, which comes in 21, and I give 1 star to. I really wasn't the biggest fan of the first movie, but my mom really likes it, and so we watched the sequel together, and I hated this. It's not that good. It's very boring, it's very predictable, it's very bland. I don't like the message of the movie. Yet somehow I also watched The Close Family 3, which comes in 2022, and I give 2 stars to. I like this a little bit more than the second one. I really hated Nora, and she was the focus of this movie, which I did not like. She was very annoying, didn't really like it. The plot was a little bit lame, and there was a lot of mediocre and necessary side plots, which is just this franchise's MO. But I like the message of this one. I do think this had some great heart to it, and it wasn't terrible all the time. I just really hope that I'm gonna let this franchise die because it was never that good to begin with. And then next I watched To Wonder, which comes in 22, and I gave 4 to 5 stars to. This one was a surprise for me. Hello. I watched it because Florence Pugh was in it. That's all I gotta know about me. I knew it also was like outside of my comfort zone, so I was a little bit scared to watch it, but I actually really liked it. It's a very slow movie, so keep that in mind. That's not for everyone. I've seen mixed reviews on it in general, but I really liked how it all played out. I really loved Florence Pugh character. I really loved how this movie had like this eerie vibe to it the entire time, and I just loved the messages in this movie. And next, another surprise is 44 and 40 Spectacle Musical, which came out in 2019, but it was on TV in December somewhere. And my mom has really been wanting to watch this, so I watched it along with her, even though I'm not a big fan of World War II stories. but whoa, I sobbed. I sobbed so much. I really love the songs, and it's such an interesting story, and I thought it was so well made. Next, I watched Noelle, which went as a 19. I gave it 5 stars too. I watched this right after really because I needed something lighthearted, and this was. The jokes were pretty cringy at points, but I do really like the story of this one, and I do think like the whole message of it was very well done, and I did have a fun time watching it in general. So it landed somewhere in the middle for me. Then next I watched Something from Tiffany's, which went in 22 and I gave 5 stars too. I really like this one, and I do think this is mainly because I think the main couple has a lot of chemistry together, and even like the friend groups also have amazing chemistry together, and I think that's what makes this movie for me, because it is not that great, it's very corny, but like it is also a Christmas rom-com. And then next I watched The Adam Project, which came out in 22 and I gave 5 stars too, which actually also surprised me that high of a rating, because at first I was excited to watch this, and then a lot of negative reviews came in for this movie, and I was like, maybe I'll hold out on it. And then I watched it now and I actually really liked it. I mean, as a sci-fi movie, time travel movie, this is really lame, it's really predictable. I totally understand how so many people don't like it, but when you look at it as a kind of like, I don't know how to call it, but a movie about the relationship between a guy and his father, and the very complex relationship that they had as a child and now as an adult with the dad that has passed. This is, I sobbed. That part of this movie is so beautiful and so well done, and I do think the power of this movie lays in that character relationships. Next I watched One Direction, This Is Us, which consists of 13. It was a rewatch, again not rated. It's back on Netflix, that's all I gotta say. I don't know if it's doing internationally, but I know it was on Belgian Netflix a couple of years ago and it got taken off, and I was back and I watched it and don't regret it. And next I watched The Muppet Christmas Carol, which came in 1992, and I gave 5 stars too. The rewatch is my favorite movie of all time. I rewatch it every Christmas Eve. I don't know what to tell you. It's a brilliant movie. If you haven't seen it yet, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Normally, The Muppet Christmas Carol is my last movie of the year, but this year I watched 2 more movies after that. The first one being Uncharted, which went in 22, and I give it 5 stars too. It is, yeah, that's all I gotta say about it, basically. It isn't bad, it's just incredibly mid, and I don't like using that word because I feel like it's very often misused, but it's very average. And then lastly for December, as well as lastly for 2022, we have Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical, which came out in 2022, and I give 2 out of 5 stars too. And I feel so bad because everybody I've seen absolutely loves this, and it didn't do much for me. I didn't really like it. I also can't really say a lot of things about it, besides the fact that I think there were too many songs. I think some of the songs really halted the plot and like kept things from happening, and that kind of got annoying. But for the rest, I don't know, I just wasn't as connected to it as I would like. I really wanted to love that too, so it feels so disappointing to say that I didn't. That's everything I have for you today. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of these movies, if you've watched them, so some of the movies you watched in the past few months. And yeah.
Here I am again, the same old situation. What does the guy